And there we go. That typifies the night that was UFC London. We have had a card since 2019, Chris. And boy, oh boy, did it deliver. This is episode 51 of PowerSport.tv with myself, Stuart Palmer, and my co-host and cousin Chris Hume. And I know for one, you were looking forward to this card. Boy, oh boy, did it deliver.
Yeah, it absolutely delivered. You know what? Not only just the fights were amazing, Stuart, the atmosphere, the crowd, the things that UK audiences can do in a sports stadium or an arena is second to none. You cannot get that atmosphere anywhere in the world other than the UK. It was amazing. It's just something I wish we were both there to witness it. I know we watched it on the telly, but I'd have rather been there and felt the atmosphere because you could see every British fighter that walked towards the octagon were thriving. They were bouncing. They felt it, and it was amazing to see. And hopefully now we can get more events over here in the UK because our fighters have just proved there is more coming.
Absolutely, fighting on all fronts, Chris. And we've got people. We could have more than one world champion potentially going forward, couldn't we? It's a big possibility, isn't it, off the back of Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. But you also got to look at it. And I like this, seeing the different fights from different counties, countries all over the UK. It's not just England anymore. Over the years, we just saw fighters coming through England that got into the UFC. You've seen Scottish fighters. We've seen Welsh fighters. We've seen Northern Irish fighters, obviously. Everywhere in the UK, you're just seeing bundles of this new fresh breed of fighters that are streaming through MMA in the UK and are breaking their way through into the States. Either it's Bellator or ONE FC, not just the UFC, but there's so many out there now that you can get excited, and it's refreshing, Stuart, and I absolutely love it.
Can I just say, before we get into Tom Aspinall's massive victory in the main, we've got so much to come. It was great hearing John Gooden back on play-by-play. Yeah. And a great job by Paul Felder and Michael Bisping, of course, who was in the Joe Rogan mold doing the interviews after the DC mold, wasn't he? As well as doing comms. What a great job they did to give it the full, shebang on that London card.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed John Gooden. I think we only missed, and I know Don's watching us over there in the States. I don't know if he'd agree with me here, but it missed Dan Hardy. It missed Dan Hardy. That sprinkler Dan Hardy.
It does. It does. They could have had a four-man move. I know stuff went on with Dan Hardy, which we don't need to necessarily speak about. No. But a four-man would have worked, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Chris, are we getting on to the man, Tom Aspinall?
Yeah, most definitely, Stuart.
And we got it right. Amazing. I think we did get it right as well, Chris. As much as Volkov was his biggest test to date on paper, my oh my, it went to the ground. He was fine standing as well. What a performance. Gets the sub. Fantastic, Chris, from Tom Aspinall. And he's definitely a player at the top end, isn't he, at heavyweight, Chris?
Well, yeah, definitely. Volkov and Tom alluded it in his post-fight, which we'll get to shortly. Volkov's only been stopped twice in 30-plus fights. And don't forget, Volkov has been in there with the Derek Lewis's. Yes, Derek Lewis did finish him, but Volkov was on top of that until Derek Lewis, his usual monster right hand, caught him. He's been in there with Cyril Gane, don't forget, who's just fought against Ngannou for the title. He's been in there with some of the best in that division, and only a handful of them have actually stopped Volkov. So for Tom Aspinall to come in there and do what he did is phenomenal, and it's an absolute lift off. Remember that time when AJ beat Klitschko? Maybe not, you can compare it too much to it, but it was a lift off. There was a fight that lifted him off. This is a lift-off for Tom Aspinall. He was brilliant throughout that fight, even though we didn't get enough to see. I wanted to see more, Stuart. I want to see him in those later rounds. I want to see him in deep waters. I want to see him how he can get through adversity. But I can't knock him. He's got in there, and it was too fast for Volkov. Volkov couldn't really get too much offense really off.
There wasn't much noteworthy, was there, really? I was expecting it, Chris, but it just goes to show how good Tom was.
He mixed everything up. Though. Yes. And I said to you about his grappling. We spoke about his grappling. Yeah. I think people didn't really notice too much, know enough about his grappling. They do now. And I feel like any heavyweight now that's going to come across him are going to have to work very hard on their wrestling defense. Because if he takes you down, he's going to submit you. Very Frank Mir-esque. Because Frank Mir was phenomenal on the ground at heavyweight.
That's a good parallel. I wouldn't have thought of that, but yes. If you can do what Frank Mir was famed for, and he can carry that on, and he can carry it on into the top 5, yeah, absolutely. What a performance, Chris! What a performance on the edge of your seat stuff. I know most of the fights for the night was edge of your seat stuff, and just incredible in that O2. Bar the people on their phones the whole time. They're not fans. They're not fans, mate. Youngsters in there. It was all for the Twitter and the Instagram. They weren't bothered about the fights, Chris. They're casuals. I'll say it.
They still have bloody tickets, mate. I would have fucking cried for a ticket there.
They're in the wrong hands. Mate. Totally in the wrong hands, but that's just the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Well, Paul Craig has come out in his pre-fight conference and said they have provisionally booked Manchester and Liverpool for this year.
Right.
So fingers crossed, we can get more events and we can get out there and we can do a live Big Fight Weekly at the arena.
I wouldn't mind even paying double. If it was double, I would consider it. It's when they go into like 3-4 times more than what they're worth. But yeah, Chris, more to add on Tom Aspinall, because obviously it was the main event. We want to give him the big rub, don't we, as he was the main event.
Look, he took charge of the fight. He did slip. A little minor slip, wasn't it? Were
you worried there? I did. My heart went a little bit, knowing that Volkov is accustomed to it. I panicked. There was a little bit of panic.
Arse dropped a bit then, did it? Yeah.
He's got to get up here quickly, which he did, didn't he? He was okay.
Yeah, and he cracked on. He cracked on straight away. Yeah. You used the leg kicks as well. He used them really, really well. So he used them to get inside, because we all know that Volkov's got a very, very long reach. So he used those leg kicks. He got inside, but he mixed it up. And I don't think Volkov saw any of the takedowns come in. When he got them down the first time round, he used that elbow and he smashed him up with that elbow. And it was brilliant. But credit to Volkov, though, because Volkov used the butterflies and got back up. Aspinall to reset himself. He used a few jabs out there and then set him up again for a takedown. But this time he got in the guard, got that arm lock or arm bar, whichever way you want to preserve it. And as he said, and in his vid in a minute, I'll show you, he talks about that arm lock. And it was night. And like I said, lift off for Aspinall. And let's see. He did call out Tai Tuivasa in his fight, after the fight.
If he takes Tai down, though, I'm hearing, Tai Tuivasa, if he fantastic against Lewis, Chris, can't take away from him. I think Aspinall would still be favourite, I think, just because of how good he is on the ground. Chris, I've heard people say Tai Tuivasa beats him. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think he's multi-skilled, and we're seeing that.
And he's so fast.
He's so fast.
Yeah,
he's so fast. It's ridiculous. He's moving around like a middleweight.
I think he's moving around like a featherweight, if I'm honest. Don, I do see your messages, mate. I will get to them.
We love your thoughts, Don. Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, it was absolutely. I was ecstatic, Stuart. Mate, the whole card itself, it was just bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. Amazing.
All night long.
Yeah, and obviously I want to give a quick shout out to Nathaniel Wood, because unfortunately we lost him a few days before the London card. A few fighters did show interest in fighting him. Davey Grant was one of them. I said to you in a private message on Facebook, I didn't really want the UK versus UK.
No. It's understandable.
It's spoil it a bit. Yeah. So obviously that didn't get booked. So hopefully Nathaniel Wood can get booked, a month down the line and get him, keep his fights going, because we don't want him missing out. But I'll roll the VT, Stuart, of Tom Aspinall's. If I can click it right here.
Come on, Tom.
So yeah, this is
brilliant.
This is Tom Aspinall's.
Wait, where's John Morgan? Why are you asking the first question, bro?
He just said, take the blue polo shirt and go do it for me.
Yeah, okay. You actually look quite similar these days.
Thanks, Tom.
No, yeah, it couldn't have gone any better. That was the ideal performance. I truly thought I was going to go 5 rounds, to get a guy like Volkov, who has been finished twice in 45 fights, out there in the first round. Just shows credit to my finishing ability. My finishing ability is highest of the high level.
You've always said that, the grappling side of your game, you haven't really had a chance to show it. So are you happy with the submission, or would you rather the knockout, or how are you feeling about the finish?
I do like knocking people out, I will be honest. For me, knocking someone out is better than submission. But I'll take the submission over 5 rounds all day. That's one of my favourite submissions. If I trap you in half guard, me and my dad have drilled that for years and years. If I get you in half guard, it's my favourite spot. So you ain't moving.
Calmness personified from him there, Chris. He's got to be saying about his abilities, Chris. That's not arrogant at all in the slightest. And as you've said, his ground game, as he said, you've said about it many, many times, he's very, very good on the ground, and it was there for all to see. And Chris only stopped twice before that, Volkov, in the 45 fights, as you said earlier. So yeah, just what a night for him in front of fans. Finally, not 50 people at the Apex, as he said. So it was the night. It was his night, along with many others on the card.
And don't forget, though, he's never fought in front of a big crowd before, as when I said this last week on the show. So, to come through that as well, because he's going to have been nervous going and walking towards the octagon. Obviously, he would have felt it and he would have loved everything going on, but he would have been a bit nervous because he's never fought in front of that many people before. No. But he didn't see any nerves. Absolutely loved it. I'm going to pull up a question that Don's just thrown out here.
The man, the legend, Hall of Fame, Matt Hughes as well, isn't it? Was the best at destroying fighters. I just had him on again on my show, mate. Let us know a little bit more on that one, Don, and I'd like to see it as well.
It's on Don's Facebook. Absolutely brilliant.
Send it my way, Chris. I love the interview side of the business.
Brilliant interview. Don's fantastic at what he does, and just to listen to Matt Hughes after everything as well.
Yeah, he's had a hard life, man. Absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant podcast, a brilliant interview. I recommend anyone that wants to, listen to fighters and listen to Don, because Don's brilliant as an interviewee. Go and listen to it. Don has asked a few more questions, but they're regards to Paddy and Molly. So I'll answer them as we get to their fights. So.
Are we all done on Tom? Are we moving on to Arnold Allen and Dan Hooker? Well, Chris, I thought this was going to be the fight the night prior, didn't I? But he's just gone out there and outstripped the striker. We know Arnold Allen is so multifaceted, but Chris, I did not expect that. And he was landing at will. It was crazy, wasn't it? It was crazy in how quickly he dispatched Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker now 1-4, isn't he, Chris, as well?
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that from Arnold Allen. I don't think I've got obviously another VT with Arnold Allen, and he says for us a Harvey, that wasn't the game plan.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes, Chris.
But I think Arnold Allen smelt blood immediately, and I think you've got to look at Dan Hooker dropping down to 145 from 155. Doesn't sound like a big drop, but you can tell the difference of the speed of bantamweights and the featherweight. Stuart, no fighters above them really are any faster. So a tall guy like Dan Hooker dropping down to 145, he then realised very, very quickly that these guys are fast, and not only fast. You've seen how built Arnold Allen is. His dad and his brother are strong men. So he's used to that heavy lifting, and you can see his frame, his shoulders are bigger than my head, Stuart. Absolutely amazing. I was corking it when it looked like he caught Arnold Allen in the first flurry, and Arnold Allen says he slipped. I'd have to watch it back because it was one of them.
You couldn't kind of see if it was or it wasn't at the time, yeah. Yeah,
and he jumped on Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker, he's been in some wars. He's been in a lot of wars.
I thought he'd be coming back more so then, off the back of being pummeled, which we've seen time and time again, Chris.
I was absolutely gobsmacked, but Arnold Allen just shows he's got power in his punches. He hasn't really shown it as much because they call him. He's like a decision king, isn't he? He does dominate a lot of fights and win that way. But everything just opened up for him, and he smelt blood. And Dan Hooker just looked, sadly, a person that we don't really resonate anymore with.
You made a valid point on Saturday. Should he have gone up to 170 because he's got the height? You made that point, didn't you?
Yeah, I did say to you about.
Yeah.
I don't know if 145 was the right decision for him. I would have thought maybe gone up to 170. 170 is a gigantic monster machine up there as well. Don't forget.
I know. It's only £10. Did he look gaunt to you in any way? Did he look?
He looked absolutely fantastic at the weigh-in, Stu. He looked ripped. He looked in really good shape, Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
I just think it's different. Lightweights, and it's a fantastic division. They don't move as fast as 145s. All the 130s, they don't move as quick as them. And I think it's been such a long time since he's been at featherweight that I think his body just went into shock because I think it was like he was actually, to quote Conor McGregor once, he was stuck in the mud. He shelled up, didn't he? Didn't know what to do. He couldn't get out of the situation. And Arnold Allen was throwing and free flowing, going and going and going. I was quite, and we got to say, props for Dan Hooker to stay in the fight because he didn't drop, he didn't go down, but I think he was out on his feet, and I think it was the right decision.
There was nothing he couldn't. It was just I couldn't believe how many shots Arnold Allen was landing at will. I was like, I think I was more on the edge of the bed because I was upstairs watching it. Karis is going mad. I was, come on! I was just absolutely made up for him. Absolutely made up for him. What next for him? What next for him? I like to ask you this.
Arnold Allen?
Did you? Yeah.
You did listen to him on the microphone there.
Oh, mate, I was all over the place because he won. I wasn't really paying attention to the post-fight, was I? Which I should have done.
He called out Calvin Kattar, which absolutely makes 100% the right way to go because Holloway's going to get the next title shot once he's fit. We've got Korean Zombie and Volkanovski there already matched up. I think they're matching up Yaya Rodriguez and Brian Ortega. That looks like that's going to be put together. So Calvin Kattar is the right next man for Arnold Allen. And the perfect man to call out because he will bring it and he'll real test Arnold Allen. And I think it'll be the most hardest test he's had. Dan Hooker was a test, but Calvin Kattar's a natural 145er. And it's a big fight for him. And I look forward to that being put together. Your man Isaac has posted something as well.
All right, Isaac. Alan finished him faster than I had time to crack Coke in a tinny. Bloody hell, mate, what's your personal best on opening up a beer? For it be fast.
It'd be faster than that, mate.
I think Dan Hooker looked like a teenager. Look ill, mate. Well, Isaac, you know about bodies, the fitness
he looked
side.
Good in the weigh-ins. He looked really good in the weigh-ins.
Yeah, Isaac, you're clued up with that because you obviously do weights and stuff, don't you? Do training. Hooker is a beast, but honestly has peaked. Thank you, Don. Chris?
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think the wars have caught up with him.
I was going to say, not just because you've said it, I thought that as he had too much
the wars have caught up with him.
Yeah.
The sad thing is now, I couldn't tell you. Go on.
He's in a rock and a hard place.
That's what I was going to say.
He needs a win. He needs a win, Chris.
Yeah, but he would have lost his ranking now at lightweight, right?
Yeah.
So he'd have lost after this fight. Yeah. And he won't be right now at featherweight. I think he would be reasonably matched, though. But the thing is, where does he go? I can't, honest to God, tell you off the top of my head who I'd match him with, because after seeing that, I worry to see if he can keep up with pace with the majority of anyone in that top 10, because they're all quite, they're all fast in that division. They're all difficult. I think he just needs to probably take some time away, find himself again, and make a massive decision, because I think this next decision Dan Hooker makes is going to be like really important, especially for his fighting career. But top man, it was amazing to watch in at lightweight. He had some good wins. He beat Gilbert Burns, Stuart. Mm-hmm. He finished Gilbert Burns. You tell me, other than Usman, who's done that recently, nobody.
It's a huge, it's a huge victory on the resume, isn't it? If you look at where Gilbert Burns is now and who he's facing up the weight, it's just it was just colossal. I couldn't believe it. It's like, holy shit, he's doing it on the. He's going for a strike. He's going for the striking. It's I think he's had a good camp over here, considering he couldn't go to TriStar because of COVID. It's worked for him, hasn't it? It's worked for him.
But he's trained with some beasts, though. He's trained with Leon Edwards. He trained with Jai Herbert, which we'll get to as well on this card.
Yeah, shame for Jai Herbert.
Yeah, but he's trained with all the the elite we've got over here. So, you know what I mean? He's not missing out too much. Yes, Farosa Harvey was over here. So, he did have Farosa Harvey's mindset and everything.
And he was on video call when he wasn't here, wasn't he, before he got in? They were showing him the drills, weren't they, and all that, how he was getting on, so he could critique it. So they made it work, didn't they, Chris?
Right, we'll jump over to Arnold's VT.
Just over here. There was even a moment where you kind of dropped your knees for a second and launched right back and put Hooker on the rope, so to speak. Just talk me through the chaos of that. And obviously, a game plan kind of goes out the window in a scenario like that. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
That was not Faraz's game plan. I think I stuck to it about 30 seconds, and then I didn't stick to it. And I think Bisbin was eating a chip butty between rounds, and there was a bit of butter on the canvas. And I just slipped on it. Okay. So I just had to start pressure. And I thought, you know what, Mike's trying to stitch me up here. He doesn't want another British champ. And, but we got through it. We figured it out.
Was it a case of the crowd spurring you on as soon as you had a sniff of an opportunity there, or was it? Did you know that as soon as there was an opportunity to finish that you would have took it with both hands? Because the speed in which you reacted to him dropping the guard and showing that he was hurt was unbelievable.
No, not in a bad way, but I didn't really notice the crowd. I get like a tunnel vision where I'm just, I'm looking at my man and seeing what he's doing. And I don't really usually react in emotion, but I saw the opportunity, so I took it.
That's a fair assessment.
He can do it. He can talk as well. A lot of people, he's not that way, but no, the grease off the chip Bertie as well. That was good. I like that. So just amazing. Going back to Dan Hooker there, Don Maguire, he'll be cut if he doesn't win his next fight.
Don, I was going to good question for you, Don. Then I can't really figure out where and who UFC are going to put Dan Hooker with. Do you have anyone in mind? Do you think they'll put Hooker with in his next fight? I honestly can't really picture one for myself. Let us know what you think, mate. But there you go. Listen, Arnold Allen, as you saw in that picture, Stuart, in that video, look how massive his bloody shoulders are, man.
Beast.
Big,
it's in the genes. It's in the genes as well, Chris. But 5'7", 145, perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. And just mass. There's a mass there, isn't there, for that size? Muscles on top of muscles.
The only worry I have is with Arnold Allen is when he gets up to the elite level in this division, is that body and that muscle mass going to be a problem going into deeper rounds? And I'm talking not 3-round fights, 5-round fights.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of pressure on him. I know he's not going to go hell for leather like that in most fights. That one that Dan Hooker, I think, was a bit more of a one-off. I think Farosa Harvey would have been, well done on the victory, but don't fight like that again.
It could be suicidal in other instances.
Well, you try and do that against Max Holloway.
I'm thinking about Volkanovski.
Well, even Volkanovski, he's a little pit bull.
But I think he's got a good chance. I think he can do. He's shown he can strike as well. He can do it. He can do a bit of everything. They are amazing. They're elite within the division. I get that, but I think he's a problem. He's a problem, and he could get the gold. I truly believe on the basis of that the other night. And that's going to do him the world of good, isn't it?
There you go. Don's replied.
Honestly, I don't. His mindset is trash right now. He will have to take time off and prove he is able. I think he will be shelved, with all honesty. Fair assumption there from Don in regards to Hooker and where he goes next. Rock and a hard place. Absolutely. It's a make or break for him in the next one.
Like I said, that's why we go back to what I said before: is go home, take your time, and work on everything. Get, as Don said, get his mindset right, his confidence back. Because, like I said, this next fight he gets is going to be huge for him, and then it's going to be like a Mike Grundy, Amir Khani sort of situation where it's do or die. And you don't want to see levels like fighters like him get cut, but in this game, it's just the way it goes. Come on, moving on.
Paddy, yes, we are. I would say, Chris, the crowd were at the loudest when Pimblett came out. I'm going to say that right now. And he splits opinion, Chris, the way he is. But that crowd, man, I think that was the loudest pop of the night when Paddy came out. You know, it's got to be said. And the crowd were loud all night. The crowd were loud all night. Weathered the storm, Chris, didn't he? He got taken down. No, he landed on him as well, didn't he? And he had to weather it again. But he did that. That happened in the first fight as well, didn't it?
I don't see again, right? This is like the Arnold situation. I don't know if he got caught, yes, but I don't know if he got caught unbalanced. I don't think Vargas caught him clean, but he's got to be careful if he wants to get up in that division. If he's going to get caught twice like he has in the last couple of fights, you know what I mean? He's going to fight harder. Well, actually, there's someone on that card that wants a piece of him and did some damage on the weekend.
We did see that as well. Yeah, which we'll get to in due course. Yes.
But Paddy, is a really good fighter, a very, very good fighter, very experienced through Cage Warriors. You know, he's fought the who's who in the UK. So, you know, these sort of fights he's getting now, yes, they're easy for him. But this is good for UFC because they can put him on the mic. And not only can this guy fight, he knows when to sell, but he knows when that spot is right. So when he's on that microphone, when he's, you know, on his post-fight, pre-fight conferences, he knows how to sell, knows how to engage with these fans. And UFC love that. They know the money trade is coming from Paddy. As long as he can keep winning, they can see maybe this could be the next Conor McGregor, maybe. Not fighting, but with the mouth.
That judo throw as well, Chris.
Yeah, he had the whizzer on one side as well, Stuart, and used his judo there. Absolutely brilliant. I like Paddy. I'm not 100% sure if he can win a title because the lightweight division is jam-packed, you know, and you know we do have Makachev in there, and
I'd go as wide as the top 15. You know, I wouldn't just say top 10. I think he is. I think it's going to be problematic. You know more than me, though. You know, you followed him a lot longer. I just feel we know the depth at 155, don't we? I'll eat my hat if he does overcome that. But I just think, you know, but he will take shots as well, though, won't he, Chris?
Well, the thing is, it's like he has been caught before, and he's been caught in Cage Warriors. That's probably the only little thing I think I've got with Paddy is move his head a bit more, get out the centre line, and I think he'd be okay. It's just that defensive striking, and I think if he can sort that out, he will be not a lot. It'd be big problems for a lot of fighters in that division. I am interested to see where he goes. Can he break into the top 10? Very possibly. UFC could match him quite well up to that point. You know, they did it with Conor McGregor. He did get matched with some sort of fighters you kind of think, I think that's too easy for him. But, you know, if the money is there in this one fighter, you can see UFC thinking to the roof.
People don't like him. They base it on how he looks. I'll tell you that now. I'm just being honest, but they don't know his credentials. They don't know enough about him in the fighting sense, Chris. I don't like the look of him. That is, isn't it? A lot of people are like he's shit when they don't actually know he is. You know, he has got the tools. Don McGuire. Paddy has a tremendous ground game. His BJJ is better than anyone thinks.
And the only thing is, a lot of people aren't going to realise that until it's too late. I watched Paddy through Cage Warriors, phenomenal on the ground, submitted pretty much everybody. As he says in his VT, which I'm going to show in a bit straight, he wanted to do a flying triangle. Imagine doing a flying triangle instead of a rear naked choke. That would have exploded the crowd. I like Paddy. There's a lot of things with Paddy that he just needs to tweak. Just a tiny tweak, not massive. Just that striking defense. And I think he's going to cause a lot of problems. Don's put another one in here.
I will put money on him getting into the top 10. So yeah, Don, you're opposite to me. You feel he can do it, right? Yeah, I'm not 100%, but you know, you've got a lot of knowledge, Don. So I appreciate you saying
Don's
that.
Got loads of knowledge.
And Chris knows better than me. I'm sure he thinks he can do it on his day. It's doable. It's because of the way he looks. I tell you, that's why a lot of people don't base it on him as a fighter. But you know, you only have to go and see what he's done in the build-up. He can talk. The guy's a talker. It was a bit it was a bit minging with the burger, and he's talking while he's eating, but it's all part of it. It gets people talking, doesn't it, Chris? It's a money thing. I think they can sell Anfield out as well for a big show.
Definitely.
55. I think they'll do 55, 60,000 for that. I truly believe it. With Darren Till, Molly, you can have Aspinall on there as well, can't you? You know what I mean? They could do that, and it would. Yeah, they can definitely generate 60,000 tickets sales in Liverpool.
Want to move on to VT?
Yeah, because he is funny, isn't he?
Unreal. Just over here, Paddy. So here we go. Congratulations on an absolutely massive win.
Let's go!
What was that like in there, from the entrance to the celebration after? Just talk me through that.
That was gangster. Yeah, that was sick, lad. I said what was going to happen, lad, and it happened. I looked a bit shit at the start, but, I'm never in a boredom fight, am I?
Is there some sense of massive achievement? Obviously, you yourself know exactly what you're capable of, and you say first round finish, and that's what happens.
That's what happened, lad. I don't talk shit. First round finish, lad, and I got it. As soon as I'd done that little J-throw through the judo throw and put him on his back, I was like, yeah, it's over now. I was thinking of flying triangle him, lad, but he kept holding my hand. Imagine how much it would have went off if I got that.
We had a chat a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the amount of stress that's been in your life outside of the cage. Like, not a lot of people know that, and you've dealt with it brilliantly, and you've been doing some amazing stuff for great causes. Is it emotional now as well, having dealt with everything that you've dealt with outside of the cage?
No, because I was put on this earth to do this, lad. Entertain people and beat people up. It's what I do. It's what I've done for years, lad. Been doing it since I was 15. I started fighting when I was 16, training when I was 15. So lad, I've said it before. I reckon in a past life, lad, I was a gladiator in the Colosseum because I was just meant to do this.
And there we go. Yes, you thought you've seen things in a post-fight, and then there he is eating a burger, eating a Big Mac. Don Maguire, look what people thought about O'Malley. I think Paddy will blaze his way, mates.
Don as well. I didn't realise really when you see Paddy. I don't think people realise how quite tall he is as well. He's very big for lightweight division. Tall. I think he can cause a lot of problems. It's got to be matched right for the right fighter. No rushing. I don't want to see him get rushed. Tapora is obviously the fight that's got to be made, hasn't it? But we will get to Tapora.
Someone was telling me he doesn't want that fight next. Of course he wants that fight next.
We didn't call him out. He didn't call him out, did he? Tapora called him out, but he didn't call him out.
That's the one. We've had all the shit earlier last week. Get it booked in. It has to happen now. We'll get to Tapora in a bit. Got anything else?
Yeah, even got the crowd singing, for the 97. Brilliant. He told fuck off the sun, fuck the Tories. Just a typical Scouser thing. We are family,
And he called out Zuckerberg as well because his Instagram getting blocked.
Yes, he did. So he's called out a lot of people in that in this post-fight, didn't he? But yeah, absolutely brilliant. The only way is up for Paddy. Let's just see where he gets matched, and let's hopefully we don't have to wait too long. A lot of these fighters need to be fighting again soon. Really, keep that momentum going.
Absolutely fantastic performance. The Paddy Pimblett train continues and returning, as you say, that after an 18-month layoff, it is Gunnar Nelson at welterweight, Chris, and he got the rounds in, didn't he, in this one against Sato? Just too strong on the ground for me, Chris, which we already know that's his wheelhouse, isn't it? But good for him to get the rounds in. I thought, Chris, after a long layoff.
Oh no, definitely. Sato, I don't know what his game plan was in that fight because there was no really offense, was there? It was survival mode pretty much for the whole 3 rounds. Gunnar Nelson had his back for all 3 rounds. He was trying desperately to open him up to get that rear naked choke. Sato, unfortunately, did really well. Well, unfortunately for Gunnar Nelson, he did really well in keeping those hands, away from his neck. It's just unfortunate for Gunnar Nelson. I think we would have loved that finish. But again, as you just said, 18 months off, 15 minutes in the bag. That's really good for Gunnar Nelson. Just to see where he goes from here now, Stuart. Interesting. Obviously he's had his ups and downs. He's had his injuries. He's very highly touted when he first came into the UFC, and I know how how good Gunnar Nelson's BJJ is, Stuart. Second to none. Not a lot of people in the UFC are as good as BJJ as Gunnar Nelson. And hopefully he can, get his confidence and reform himself and, take another crack at the lightweight and go for, a run.
Absolutely. It's great to see him back with John Kavanagh in his corner as well. Gunnar had gotten a second breath after his loss to Zach Cummings.
Which is an interesting one because I would have had Gunnar Nelson beaten Zach Cummings, which is one of them, really. MMA math, though, isn't it? A fighter can beat this guy and then this guy can beat that guy. It's madness. That's why we love it, though.
Yes, it throws up those variables, not a question. So, yeah, perfect for him in terms of rounds, wasn't it? I think, he was looking to finish it, I think, wasn't he?
He was trying.
It was a good one for him to get back into the promotion, wasn't it? Back on the win column.
I don't think Sato's a UFC fighter, though. I'm not.
No.
He didn't come to fight, did he? He came to survive. There was no really any offense in trying to win the fight. Yeah, it's hard if you're stuck and you've got Gunnar Nelson with a body lock. And he's got hold of you, but there was nothing there. There was no, when he had him standing up, there was nothing. But, props to Gunnar Nelson.
Absolutely. Anyone's fight when the door closes, yeah.
That's right, Don.
That's it. That's what they all abide by, don't they?
So we get to our fellow Evertonian.
Absolutely. With the spinning back elbow. And
you're going to like this photo, Stuart.
Woo! Lights out, and away we go. Yeah, what a finish, Chris.
Yeah, picture quality obviously isn't great, but you can actually see in the top left-hand corner that elbow, absolutely sweet on the button. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Look, I like Molly McCann. I was a bit skeptical because I thought I said Carolina might beat her in this fight. I hold my hands up. I was wrong. I thought that Carolina would sort of hold on, take all the pressure that Molly comes in. She's like a battering ram, Molly McCann. Fantastic boxing. You can see the head movement. She can take a punch. But I thought Carolina might try to use a bit of grappling and try and take her down. Didn't work because Molly McCann did some crazy sort of wrestling move, isn't it, really? When she got hold of her and dropped her on her back. Like a backwards fireman carry, really, wasn't it? But the first round was explosive. She went at it, and you could tell that she was so galvanized by the crowd. I was surprised that Carolina stayed in the fight.
Because I was worried about her getting inside because of the 7-inch reach, but she's like you say, she just goes in, all guns blazing. The reach didn't matter, did it, Chris? It didn't really come into it at all. The way she was landing, and they were clinching as well. There was a bit, there was other stuff going on within that fight, but the reach didn't matter. It wasn't any part of the fight, was it, whatsoever?
Carolina was trying to clinch her up, and you could see more so towards the second round because I think Carolina had a better second round. I think Molly sort of slowed down a bit, trying to catch her breath because she unloaded a lot in the first round. And don't forget, Molly's first round was amazing. Combinations, she was going body head, and the speed of her punches were absolutely fantastic. Second round, I think she sort of that all caught up with her, caught her breath. I think you probably say Carolina might have edged the second round. The third round comes around. And that elbow, Stuart, good night. And it wasn't a fluke elbow, Stuart. She worked that one out. She knew. When she comes and tries to clinch with me, I'm going to spin. And there's a moment just before she delivers that elbow, Stuart. She's already thinking, I'm going to elbow her. Just very quickly, Stuart, if you watch it, there's a second stop where she's thinking, if it's clocking in her head, and bang, good night, see you later. And then she is what sets off the O2, Stuart. That fight then just puts everyone into a frenzy. The crowd goes nuts. It's absolutely amazing to see. And being a fellow Evertonian, Stuart, obviously we didn't have the greatest Sundays with our football team, but I don't think she cares now. But yeah, what a performance. I'm ecstatic for her. I just hope now she can keep this momentum going and crack on going forwards and, have a really good go at this division. Don, have you interviewed Molly? Is that what you're trying to say? But Stuart,
we've had a few comments from Lewis as well, but one's to do with Mr. Paul Craig, obviously.
Yeah, we'll get to Paul Craig.
And then he's also said about Paddy. Is he Scouser, is he? Yeah, he's a
Yes.
Liverpudlian. He's a Liverpudlian Lewis. Yeah, don't we know it as well? But yeah, Chris, are we moving on, are we, lad?
Yeah, well, I've got a VT for
Get the
Molly.
fire it.
That was an over here.
Wait, lads, wait, yeah.
Yo.
What's happening?
Unbelievable finish. You have needed a viral moment like that, and that will long live in the memory in the UK MMA scene and the worldwide MMA scene. Just talk me through that fight, absolute war, and a finish to match. Watch you get ready.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I've had viral moments of me talking about having a bevy, which nice one day, you know. But I done the bit. I absolutely smashed it. Done what all my coaches have said. Sorry, I'm just getting ready so I can go watch him. Done everything that I've done for a lifetime of learning MMA, and I'm not going to break down the normal meatball, be absolutely in bits now, but you know what? That's where I'm supposed to be. It's the performances I'm supposed to have. Me and Paddy Pimblett are going to change the game. We're the second go at the British invasion after we had Brad Pickett, after we had Michael Bisping. It's my time.
Was the belt a planned thing that you went and grabbed, or was that something you just saw and was just like, right, that's my
I just
time?
rolled with it. Come on, me and Patrick don't plan nothing. I just rolled with it, I seen it, I thought, oh, friggin', I'll just run with this. Do you know what I mean? So I literally ran with the belt.
And there we go.
I love it, mate. Love it.
From a bull-clad Under Armour trainers as well there. Good nod to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. But yeah, confidence is there, Chris, isn't it? You know, she's had a couple of losses since she's come over. She's, one fight into the 4-fight contract as well. So she needs a big test again now, Chris, because she's come in like a steam train now, isn't she? After a few setbacks earlier on in the UFC.
You call Paul Craig the Renaissance man, because obviously Paul Craig came in and suffered a couple of defeats before he came into UFC. And then after that, he found himself, realised what he needs to change. I think Meatball Molly has done the same. She's had a few losses. She's figured out what she needs to change, and she's in a great gym at Next Level in Liverpool with Paddy, as she said. Listen, I'm looking forward to see who she gets matched up with next, and just everything about her. I think she's brilliant, Stuart, and I suppose her being an Evertonian is a tick for me anyway.
Absolutely, and she said in the documentary on BTO how crap we are, and she's like, what it's like to be an Evertonian. So she gets it, and she said, we need to bloody win something somewhere down the line. I feel her pain. But heart on her sleeve, and yeah, just a blockbuster knockout there with that spinning elbow, man.
Moving on, Stuart, to another blockbuster knockout.
Yes, here we go. Ilia Topuria pulls the plug on Jai Herbert. Chris Jai Herbert, again, he's in a bit of a rock and a hard place, isn't he, with his record within the UFC. And he wasn't doing bad, though, Chris, was he?
No, Stuart, he hit Topuria. He hit Topuria with an absolute rocket of a right leg kick, Stuart, right in the chops. And most people, Stuart, because it was a clean shin to the face of Topuria, most people would have gone down and it would have been good night. Ilia Topuria he's a monster. He got back at Jai Herbert, and Jai Herbert was doing well with the striking. He was doing as better than I thought. I thought Topuria might have got him out even a bit sooner than that. But unfortunately for Jai Herbert, is chinny. That chin isn't going to hold up. And I don't know where Jai Herbert goes from here, and it's really sad because, again, he's another one I watched in Cage Warriors, Stuart. I highly touted him in the Cage Warriors, and I was so excited to see him when he come to UFC. He's just had a lot of hard fights coming into UFC. He hasn't had an easier fight per se. He's had a lot of really hard, steady fights. Well, not steady fights, Stuart. Hard opponents. Masakano is not an easy fight. Topuria's unbeaten, Stuart. Not an easy fight.
I did notice when they obviously put the graphic up. Yeah, it's not to be sniffed that, but he had his moments. But like you say, it just shows the heart of Topuria, doesn't it? And what he can take, and what and that it's going to be him and Paddy on a collision course off the back of this, isn't it? It's got to be the next fight, Chris. They can't stall on that one. People are saying Paddy's not ready. When are you going to be ready? and it sells because they've got the backstory now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. This 100% sells. 100% sells. Tapora though, Stuart, I look at Tapora and I think he's quite small for the weight division. I think he's another one. I think maybe down the line. 145 would be perfect for Tapora, and I think he could be a beast there. If he can get past a few people and he starts meeting the world class to elite level fighters, I think his size he's going to struggle with certain people. But I think at 145, Tapora would be a beast, and he would make. I think he'd put a lot of people on notice in that division. But I think that will come in time.
Absolutely. Yeah, fantastic performance from him. And Jai Herbert, we're not kind of sure what's going to happen next with him. But I think the next one, he's going to need a W. He's going to need a W.
100%.
That's pressure. That's pressure in itself, isn't it? Before you've even got in the cage, and that's going to be in his mind, isn't it? He's got to go for broke in the next fight, and he's got to get a win.
Yeah, 100%. All right, moving on.
We're moving on? Yeah, because we've got quite a bit to cover, haven't we? So, yeah, we're going to go through these ones pretty quick now. Makwan Amirkhani chokes out Mike Grundy in 57 seconds, Chris. You knew when that was in tight, didn't you, Chris? That what was coming. It was in so tight.
Anaconda chokes, Stuart, are horrible to be in, and I've been in them before, and they are so quick at taking all your airflow out if put in right. And Mike Grundy, to his detriment, tried to sort of roll the submission, but he was so close to the cage that he couldn't really roll. And Amirkhani, once he got the leg around the other leg, it's ramped up the pressure. And unfortunate for Mike Grundy, and another good British fighter, good British wrestler, Stuart. I think that's it for him in the UFC. I feel like that probably be him cut, sadly. But, Amirkhani said it in his post-fight, they had to win. One of them had to win. They had to keep, this was their job on the line. And Mr. Finland pulls the one out. And sadly for Mike Grundy.
From Kurdistan originally as well, isn't he? Which is, be the only Kurd fighter in the promotion, to my knowledge. But yeah, as you say, it was rock or bust, wasn't it, for either man? Again, pressure, Chris. And some guys deal with it, don't they, and go for it. And others just, the other guy wilts. But shame for Mike Grundy. We obviously want our UK fighters to be on the platform, on the biggest platform in MMA. But yeah, Makwani with the victory. We're moving on, mate. I think you're moving on, aren't you?
Yeah.
And yeah, Paul Craig, Chris, my word. Just when you think this man is down and out, he was getting smothered, wasn't he, Chris? I was really worried. He pulls out the sub again, Chris. And that now takes him to 8-4, doesn't it, in the promotion?
Yeah, and you know what? He has been on an absolute tear. He just knows, doesn't he? He plays possum with these people. And Nikita Krylov is exceptional fighter, Stuart. Really, really good. He's been in there with some really hard fighters. He's been in with a lot of the best of the best as well as Nikita Krylov. But Paul Craig just took his punches, and like I wrote, Stuart, and I wrote this on Twitter at the same time. He eats punches and chokes people out for fun, does Paul Craig, because he knew if he waited, and as soon as Krylov moved a bit closer and that arm came away, that triangle choke was whipped like a pretzel right round him. Yep. And Paul Craig walks away with another victory, another submission. His one against Jamal Hill was a bit more dangerous, Stuart, because he did break Jamal Hill's arm. I think he did pop something in Krylov's arm as well.
And also, just as a side note, Chris, I noticed the UFC didn't put the Ukrainian flag in, and they didn't put where he was from.
I did see.
Did you notice that? With that going on, that was good show, respectable, because a lot, you'll still have in sport, you'll still have the flag up. But Paul Craig, man, going back to Paul Craig, just amazing, isn't it? Just when you think he's going to get smothered, that's it, he's done. He pulls it out the bag again. And Lewis Young has commented as well, Chris. They did not see the UFC at the weekend, but Paul Craig was awesome that I have seen on Twitter. He's obviously seen some clips, and his fellow Scotsman there. Just amazing, wasn't it?
He's got that perfect Olivier Giroud beard, doesn't he? It's this immaculate beard.
He looks like Highlander. I think I said that to you beforehand, and I know he's done the paint before now at weightings and stuff, hasn't he? He's gone for the half with the blue there. So yeah, just the embodiment of Scotland.
Yeah, definitely. And really putting Scotland on the map. I've got a VT of his. I'll put it on now.
Yeah.
You took some heavy shots from where we were at in here. What were they like? Did you?
They were heavy.
Yeah.
He was trying to finish me. I had taken the last Jaffa cake in the house, and he was not happy, man. He was wanting to stop that fight.
I've never heard that analogy before.
Have you never?
At a UFC press conference.
I had a big brother, and if you took the last Jaffa cake, that's what you were getting. And you were shouting at your mum, "Mum!"
You look calm in there, though. You look calm whilst that was happening.
You know, I've been in this sport, although it's just a blink of an eye. All these fights back to back set you up for this kind of stuff. Emotionally, I'm ready. When I first joined the UFC, I wasn't. Very green, very naive, didn't really understand the sport, didn't really understand the emotional connection. Like, now, I can control my emotions and I can use them to fuel me in fights. But what a sport, let's be honest. 1 minute you're eating heavy ground and pound, and the next minute you're whispering into his ear. And I don't know if any of you can watch this back and you'll be able to see me. I grab him tight and I'm like, it's over. Like I'm in an action film, you know. I absolutely love this sport. I love the emotion that I feel as I win, lose, draw, walk out to that octagon. Sitting here right now, I feel there's something that people will never ever experience, and I get to do it regularly.
Fantastic. Again, big thank you to MMA Crazy for the clips as well.
Yeah,
they've been using that. Yeah, there've been some good clips there, Chris. But yeah, you know, he's adapted, hasn't he, as he's gone along. He's really learned. He said he was green. He's honest. He holds his hands up. As you said, he had some losses. But we've seen guys come through, haven't we, and have losses and do fantastic, get some world titles. And he's got a chance with his submissions, hasn't he? There's no two ways about it. He knows what he's doing, but just don't take the last Jaffa cake.
No, don't take the last Jaffa cake because he's going to...
Don't be taking out the biscuit jar, the cookie jar.
And he's going to wrap you up like a pretzel.
Yeah, you'll perish, man.
Look, I loved it. I think his analogy is brilliant. I had to watch back the fight after he said about he pulled Nikita Krylov in and it's over to him. It made me laugh. And then I watched it back and he does pull him in, you know, to tighten the triangle choke. And then you could just envision him telling him down his ear, "It's over." Brilliant. Fantastic win for Paul Craig. I personally, Stuart, I think this fight should have been on the main card over Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah, I was shocked, you know. I know we'd obviously covered it last week, the bill and all that. It's just, that he deserved to be. And Krylov was a big test. We said last week, Chris, you said, you know, the man's had a lot of fights, got a lot of experience. And it's huge. It's a huge victory for him. It puts him into that next bracket now, doesn't it, that one? Absolutely.
Yeah. With a win over Ankalaev and Jamal Hill, who are both in the top 10.
Yeah. Amazing. He's done fantastic. He really has.
We move over to our own Jack Shaw now, Stu.
Here we go, a Welshman. Yes. And Chris, two rounds to one on the judges' scorecards, wasn't it, this one? And do you think it was better for him getting the rounds in this one? Or did you want the stoppage? We all wanted the stoppage. But
oh, yeah, of course.
I think sometimes you need the rounds. And, you know, he's come through it. You know, we expect a lot from him, don't we? He's still undefeated. He's 60-0. But yeah, your thoughts on it with it going, you know, the distance?
Valiev really tested him. Valiev was really awkward. His head movement was brilliant. And I think Jack Shaw took probably a round. And I think he probably lost that first round against Valiev because he had to work him out. Because Valiev was really quick. He's quite stocky. He can also take you down, which obviously Jack Shaw had those problems. They got caught in a guillotine, a really tight guillotine. Managed to break out. But with all that movement and that stockiness, he tied him out, or tied himself out. And that's in, like, say, the third round. More so, Jack Shaw then took control, dropped him twice. Really unfortunate not to finish Valiev, but it just showed you the testament of how tough Timur Valiev is. And I think he's going to be a really big player in the division after this fight himself, not just Jack Shaw. But it was a good, tough test for Jack Shaw. Really tough. And I think this really helps him now moving on to XYZ fight, whatever he has next. He didn't have as much control of his grappling like he has done previously because Valiev was really good and, you know, countered a lot of those grappling exchanges for himself and got Jack Shaw down. But Jack Shaw did perfectly in lots of different ways to get back up. But yeah, just a standout performance by Jack Shaw. Loved it. There's a lot of things on the horizon for Jack Shaw, I think. I don't know what you think, but I think the sky's the limit for this man.
Absolutely. You need the battle tested. Again, as you say, it's not just the physical; it's the mental aspects of that. He's had a tough evening. He's come through it. He lost the first round, as you say, but he's shown the resilience in there. And yeah, he's got all the tools. We've touted him right the way through since we started this show, haven't we? And from a little town in Wales where he's training, and he's getting the best he can get. So yeah, we're going to a VT, mate.
Yep.
Jack, congratulations on the victory. Walk us through that final round. It was pretty chaotic in there. It looked like you got a little bit of a trouble with that guillotine.
Not as much trouble as he did after being sat down twice, but yeah. No, it was close. It was right under my neck. It was squeezing a little bit, but I knew if I stayed in half guard that I'd be all right. And I thought that, and the next round it would start getting tighter and tighter, and I could hear the crowd react, and I just thought, well, there's no way I'm tapping in front of these lots. So it was like, you're either going to get out or you're going to go to sleep. And next round, I knew my head popped out. So, but yeah, it was close. It was close, but not close enough.
So overall, pleased with the performance, even though you did get into some of those situations, like you mentioned, getting stuck in that choke.
Say again.
I was overall pleased with the performance, even after getting stuck in those chokes.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit slow to start. He was unorthodox. I knew that coming in. Took me a little bit longer to get a read on him. He changed his angles and his attack up a lot. But yeah, once I sort of found I could feel him getting tired. I know I got a good engine, and I could hear the corner saying, keep the pressure on. I could hear him getting tired, and I could see him slow him down, especially going to that third round. I sort of guessed it was one each. I thought, just keep the pressure on. I said yesterday, if I keep the pressure on anyone, they'll start to show cracks, and minus the guillotine. That's what he did in the third.
And then you mentioned those fans. In fights in Las Vegas, you don't really see full venues this early on the fight card. It seems pretty full out there from the first fight. So what did you make of the crowd?
Yeah, they knew the tank was on early, didn't I? I told Dana if you want him in there from the start, put me on early. But no, that's the UK crowd feel. That's wherever you go in the UK, wherever the card is, wherever it's strong, weak, they show out from the first fight past fight, and that's why it's one of the best places in the world to fight. So.
Another one who could have been on the main card, Chris, quite easily, but there was that many names, and they wanted to showcase some more because it's been so long. But yeah, I did like that as well. Without the guillotine bit, I did drop him twice. And he talks well. He does talk well. He's got a good he's good, man. I've got a lot of time for him. I think just a good showcase for him, and there was a bit of everything in that fight. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move on to our next fellow Welsh lady, Stuart.
Yes, Chris. Young Corey McCann still only 22, but at least Reed, Chris, you did say she had a good shot of winning this one. But a split decision victory. But yeah, Chris, your thoughts on this with our very own Welsh lady, Corey McCann?
Listen, she's very promising, Corey McKenna. Another one I watched through Cage Warriors, Stuart. Ecstatic to see another Welsh person, be on the UFC stage. Unfortunately, I think time away has probably not helped her here. She's been away and hadn't been able to get a fight. I think it's about over a year she's been trying to get a fight. Hasn't got one. She got one now. A bit rusty. It happens. I think the sky's the limit for Corey McKenna. I think she can do bits in this division. I think it's just, she's got to get a bit more fights. I hope she gets a quick turnaround and she can prove how good she is. She's very good. She's just unfortunate. Ellis Reed was very good at popping that jab out, Stuart. That right hand was causing McKenna trouble and she kept on walking into it, unfortunately. And I think that more or less racked up the points for Elise Reed in that fight. Yeah, Corey McKenna had takedowns, but I don't think really they score for those sort of takedowns anymore. Maybe back in the day, you could win a round with a takedown. Not so much now. It's just one of them. Listen, the sky's the limit for the girl. I think she will definitely come back stronger, better, and I can guarantee you now she'll win the next fight and she'll go on a bloody good run and she'll fly the flag for us Welsh people, like Jack Shaw, and it'll all be well.
They can go back to the drawing board, but they can't. Do you know what I mean? They can work out, where it didn't happen for her. But yeah, split decision in the same token, and she's got years ahead of her because she's very young to be in that promotion at 22. You know,
and that Team Alpha Male as well, Stuart. So she's in a good gym. She's in a good gym.
Absolutely. Hopefully they iron out the issues she had in that one, and yeah, it can serve her well going forward, as Chris says. And we look forward to seeing her in her next outing. Absolutely.
We ready for the theme on Mikhaev, Stuart?
Well, he's highly touted, Chris. And my word. Yeah,
listen,
Mohamed Mikhaev, Chris.
Yeah, Mohamed Mikhaev. Look, Stuart. He called for this fight. He asked for Durden. He called him out on Twitter, said, "This is the fight I want, and this is the fighter I want at UK London." He got it, and